Hey, what's up, everybody? Circus here. I'm joined by Herf, and today we're gonna do a quick video about just tips on how to improve your competitive play. Some of the stuff might be really basic for some people that have been playing for a while, but we're hoping to aim this video at people that are just getting into the game, maybe just getting into competitive play, and this will just give them a few extra tips to maybe help them figure out things during the duel. So, Herf, what are we talking about today, buddy?
So the 5 ways to make your play more competitive are using the hourglass, being able to read it, interpret delays, using the toggle button to change your activation windows, using basic resource management, good just rules to follow, basic deck building, and making use of the dual log.
Correct. All right, so we'll just tackle them in order here. We'll jump into a duel. All right, so we're going into the duel here, and the hourglass, if you guys aren't aware, is at the top of the screen, and it's there when your opponent is doing something. It's right here.
Yeah, so basically if your opponent has something that's able to respond, the hourglass will flick on. So now when you draw a card, if I have something that can respond to your board state, the hourglass will flick on.
And it did.
Um,
It did. It
yes,
did
so
light
that
up.
means I have something that can interact with your back row or your set monster. In this case, I do have a Cosmic Cyclone.
Okay.
But so you can use this information to go down the list of possible interactions. So there's not many things that can interact with this board besides backer removal. We don't have like generic like face down monster removal.
Mm-hmm.
If you have another monster in your hand to summon, you'll see another delay because that's just continued delay from the Cosmic Cyclone. But I also have like a Floodgate set as well. I have Wall of Disruption that won't give any delays until you declare an attack. So just knowing popular cards and when they will activate and seeing the hourglass flicker on will allow you to read what your opponent has without even them wanting to reveal it to you.
All right, so that finishes up reading the hourglass. Now we're gonna kind of go into how to use your toggle. Okay, so right here, the toggle's right here, and it's got three positions. Right, it's got off, then it goes to on, and then auto. And what this will do is it will notify you when you can activate a card. Okay, so if it's off, it's never going to ask me if I want to activate a card. If I set it to on, it's going to ask me every single possible time that that card can be activated if I want to. And then if you set it to auto, it's going to ask you what the most opportune times or just the main phases or
Like whenever the game thinks you would want to.
right, yeah. So sometimes auto's good, but if you really want to get to the pro plays, you want to turn it to on. But it's going to give your opponent delays, and that hourglass, as we learned in the first segment, is going to go nuts. So I have it set on. So right now, my Canadia is active, and it's asking, your opponent drew a card. Would you like to activate the effect? No. It's the draw phase. No. It's the standby phase. No. So it's going to ask me
Yeah,
every possible time that I might
even
want
when
to.
I set a card because Yu-Gi-Oh is like a interactive game, like we have to pass priority back and forth. So whenever the turn player makes an action, if the toggle is on, it will always ask you if you want to respond to it if you can.
Right.
Um,
So
yeah,
with this interaction right here with Herf, having more monsters on the board, probably getting ready to attack, what I would have wanted to do is set this to off. So it goes into his turn and it's off. So he's doing his turn. He's not getting any reads on what that might be. Um, and then when he goes to the battle phase, I'll turn it to on quick, and it'll say it's the start of the battle phase, and that's when I'll activate the card. See, it's right now it's saying it's the end of the main phase. That would tip him off. So you really got to watch what he's doing at the top of the screen where it's telling you what phase it is. And as he goes into the battle phase, you turn it on. And it says it's the battle phase. Would you activate the effect of a card? And I'm going to say yes because he has less options to react to it at this point. And then I'm going to flip one of his cards down.
so yeah, that's just basically how you use the toggle. So if you want to use something in the draw phase, like let's say you get lava golemed, and you want to econ take in the draw phase, so you can tribute the lava golem off the field. That's a really useful interaction. Or you want to interact with something as soon as it's special summoned before they're able to do something else. That's also a really good time to use it. Basically, whenever you want to make sure to be able to respond to something, before they can do something else, just flip it to on. Then you always know that you're going to be able to respond.
Yeah, and practice makes perfect on it. So the first couple times you do it, you're gonna be giving yourself away. But once you learn how to do it, you'll get pretty adept to
Yeah.
with it. All right, so that's everything on the toggle. So now we're going into resource management, and here, Herf's gonna be playing Luna Lights. I'm gonna be playing Yusenju's, which is a stall deck. So managing your resources is very important, especially against a deck like this that can put a lot of attack in one turn. It can OTK you. So I'm gonna take it easy here. I have plenty of stuff in the hand that can defend with. So I'm just gonna put out one card here and just sit back. So next turn I want to use as few cards as possible to defend myself. So I'm gonna wait and see what Herf does here because I have plenty of options, but I don't want to use more than one card if I don't have to. So we'll see what he does. All right. Goes into the battle phase. Now, being that I'm playing Shadow Game, I'm more likely to use the Kiteroid because in the long term, I'm going to take less burn damage from it. So, I used one card to defend myself. I'm going to wait there. I should have my toggle off right now. Oh, he bounced it back to my hand using the effect of the rabbit. Dang you, Herf. But I'm going to use just one card to defend just one attack here. And then I'm just going to eat this damage. There's no reason right now to use whatever card that is in my hand that Herf doesn't know what it is because there's no possible way for him to know. There's no reason for me to use this card. It's better just to eat the damage. All right, so now he's targeted both my cards. Now I'm going to use one of them. I'm going to show him what I have. So I'm going to target this. And then I'll target... I guess that one. I don't know. I'd probably think about it more normally. So now if he wants to get that cat dancer back out on the field, he's going to have to earn it. Okay, so that stalled him a little bit. I have stuff in the hand that I can use.
Basically, the main idea here is you don't want to use your backer, your resources, anything that you have at your disposal to use before you absolutely have to use it. A lot of times people will just go right into their duels and they'll just spam click everything. They'll get through it all when they don't necessarily have to use it. They could wait for it. They could stall a little bit into their combo. Basically, you just want to keep your hand and your field as big as possible with the most amount of resources at your disposal.
All right, so the next thing on our list is deck building, and we've covered this in another video, but we can't really stress it enough is just keep it simple.
Yeah, so we have a perfect example of that right here. He just has a lot of things going on here. So what you want to do whenever you want to put a card into your deck is what is this contributing to my win condition and how often am I going to be able to use it? So things like Thousand Knives, things like Magician's Robe, things like the Gaia, those are all cards that like you could use sometimes, but they're not really useful all the time. So even like Champ's Vigilance, he may not have a lot of cards, is a good free to play option for some bonus negate stuff like that. Maybe more counter gates, maybe more um, of other things that will contribute to your win condition, help you survive. Maybe if he has like a Canadia, something like that, would really help him instead of just throwing a bunch of random cards he thinks might be useful at any given time.
Well, he's trying to make it like a toolbox. If I run into this, I'll draw this. But if I run into this, I'll draw this. But it ends up making your deck weak. I would feel a lot better like if I just had 3 counter gates because I know I'm going to draw one, you know, and I know what it's going to do and I know how it's going to help me. Same with like the navigations. Maybe he only has the 2, but if you have 3, obviously you're more likely to draw one. Anytime you could have 3 of something, you're going to feel a lot better about drawing it than if you just have a bunch of random one-ofs.
But even like the Thousand Knives, right? Like, what is it doing? It's targeting to destroy one monster on the field, right? Which both targeting and destruction are both things that can be played around in the meta right now. And it only works if you already have a Dark Magician on the field. Like, if you have your Dark Magician on the field, you're probably in a good spot anyway, so you probably don't need bonus monster removal, right? So you want to
Right.
think about, when would I use this, and is it actually helping me?
Right, and you're just trading one for one at that point. Whereas if you were to do the rod into the circle, into the navigation, summon your dark magicians, and you're banishing, you don't need this card.
Hmm.
So it'd be better to go after a third circle than throwing in a thousand knives, which I
Yep.
know is a difference in cost, but it's better to go after the circle than to just throw a bunch of free to play options in.
Or even just like other like free to play backer, like more Countergate and stuff like that. Or even if you just have one of Canadia, one of Floodgate, one of
Right.
any kind of generic protection will help you so much.
Well, with countergate, yeah, because you negate the attack and you draw a card,
Yep.
so you plus right there. It's nice.
Yep.
All right. So the final point we wanted to bring up was checking the duel log, and it's really great for like, let's say you're just distracted for a minute. The duel starts, and you can check real quick who activated what. I activated grit right here at the beginning of the duel. You can see if your opponent activated a skill, so that's really nice. And then if you don't know what it is, you can check what it is real quick. Things
And
like
there are
that.
loads of amount of information that the dual log can give you, right? So if a monster was floodgated, you can go back in the dual log and you can look at exactly the attack and defense stats of that monster, what it's going to do on flip, things like that. Another great thing that the dual log will give you is it'll give you information about like when they've activated certain things. So if I want to check and see if my opponent activated the effect of Elemental Palace, I can look and I can see if they activated it. Will they have a battle phase next turn? Just stuff that I can make sure that I consider when I am making my play in this turn right here.
All right, we can get an example of that right here. Sends Yellow Martin to the grave. I draw a card, and then Lunalight, Yellow Martin's effect activates, adds the fusion to his hand, and then activates again right there.
Yeah, so our opponent will be able to see all that, and since we can only activate Martin once per turn, they'll know that even if we tribute the Martin right now, we won't be able to get to add again. So it's just like if our opponent has something else in his hand that would be able to stop that, etc.
Right. Oh, another good thing is good for like right here that we saw what just got milled without having to go through there. Go through the graveyard itself. You can look right in the duel log, and it'll show you right at the bottom here um, what happened.
Yeah, so he milled a tuner, a squire, and a solemn scolding. So he's playing something a little spicier than normal.
Yeah. All right. So if you check the log here, you can see all the stuff that's happened. It's a great resource of information. If you're confused on maybe how something happened in the duel, you can go back through and see, oh, this is how I got beat, or this is how I won, or how did that effect work. It keeps a great record of everything that's in that happened. So make sure to use it. You can learn a lot from it. You can screenshot it, share it with people, and be like, hey, what happened here? Just remember to use it because it's definitely a great source of information.
Yeah, the moral of the story here with all five tips is the game has a lot of ways to give you information. Utilize every single one of them, right? Duel Links and Yu-Gi-Oh in general is a game of information. The more information you have, the more plays you have, and the more likely you are to beat your opponent. So just maximize all of the opportunities to use information in the game.
Exactly. And if you like this video, because I know I did, and I know Herf did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do the Discord thing, do the Twitch thing, do the Twitter thing. We'd appreciate all of them. I'm Circus, that's Herf. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I'll be told about it later. But we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.